Who better to talk about a Mississippi Christmas hosted by Steve Azar than the one and only Steve Azar? Good morning, my friend.
I'm thinking Richard Cross would be a better one for that.
Nah. You sing better than I do. Probably a better storyteller as well. What's up, my man? Great to catch up with you. How many years is this? This 5 years that we've been doing a Mississippi Christmas with Steve Azar?
5 or 7. I can't recall, but for some reason I felt like we did it the very first year. That when I was finishing up my first year, I'm about to be into my 8th year with you guys. So I think it's 7. But as we get older a little bit, you and me, we're like a married couple. You have 5, I have 7. We'll meet in the middle and say 6.
Well, it's been a really cool deal. I'm curious. You've worked on so many different kinds of projects, and this is one, Steve, that is unique because it's a long programming block, and it's not new content for like 72 straight hours. But it is a long programming block, and I know you've worked with Will East and others in putting this thing together. Is this a fun project to put together?
Well, we sort of extend it every year, or I say extended. We expound on it a little bit. I'll grab some stories from some of my friends when I do interviews. But, yeah, it's a whole lot of fun. I mean, I'm a big fan of Christmas, especially when I was on the road so much, probably – by the time it got to December, we were pretty beat up and tired and ready to see the family.
Yeah.
And as the kids got a little older, Richard, we got, they couldn't go with me. So they had to be in school and stuff. So missing that and then just coming home and knowing you had sort of a break as far as travel, but you still had to get prepared for your next record and springtime touring and all that. So as I fell in love with Christmas all over again, knowing that it was going to be a really great time to just get to know my kids again because we were gone so much. But now they're L.A., New York, Jackson, and so when they come home, I get that same feeling because they're the ones that's gone most of the time. Even though I'll still play like 60, 70 shows a year, I'm not leaving them. And Gwen can go with me a lot of times now, which she couldn't before. And so anyway, Christmas is that time that it and also it reignites our faith and sort of recenters you for the year and knowing what it's all about. As my man Corey Miller, the pastor of Payne, great NFL player and South Carolina Gamecock Hall of Famer, he's been on my show a lot, and he says it's not about the presents, it's about the presence of our Lord. And so he always sort of centers me and says, hey, don't forget what it's all about. And between family and faith and all that, it's sort of a wonderful thing, man. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. And Corey is so much fun to visit with. We've had the chance to visit with him in the afternoons a couple of times on Sports Talk Mississippi at your golf event. Man, that really struck me, though, as you talk about kind of full circle. It's you being gone, and then you get to a point in your life where it's them, the kids, being gone, and the excitement as opposed to you coming back home to them, of them coming back home to you. And I guess that's really how life works. Some of us are fortunate enough that everybody's kind of close, right? And you don't have that, I only get to see them a few times a year. But, I mean, for example, my brother lives right outside of Dallas, and he and his wife and kids are coming in on the 26th. And I know we're talking about my brother, not my kids, but only get to see him a few times a year. And, that may be the part of Christmas that I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, it's funny. It's an interesting point. I'm having half of our siblings come in and the other can't because their kids are getting older and starting to go off and get married and have jobs and can't get away. And, that is a really interesting point. You think about when you're growing up and the chances that, I'll only see my brother or sister a few times a year, which is a reality for a lot of us when they go off and we all go off and do our own things. So, you got to take advantage of those times. I bickered a lot with my little sister, and I wish I could take all the bickering back. But I think we've made up for it, So, so she'll be here tonight, actually, with 2 of her sons, and we're looking forward to seeing them. Our kids love it. They love their cousins, and they're all the same age, respectively, on down from top to bottom of the ladder. And they all really get along, and it's beautiful to see that too, because the next generation, it's nice to see that they care so much about each other, and they are they really these are precious moments for them already, and they get it.
Yeah. What Well, for those that maybe have not caught Mississippi Christmas on Super Talk with Steve Azar, what can people expect to hear?
Well, first of all, we're the birthplace of America's music. Let's just start and stop right there. Everything else in between has been inspired by us, and that's just the facts. And thank goodness Mississippi took back, last 20 years we've taken back, or 20 years or so, have taken back the right to claim that. And with that is all these incredible artists who have recorded great Christmas records. From Charlie Pride to Elvis, to Jimmy Rogers to BB. I mean, the list goes on and on. We got so many great, and Dorothy Moore and Bobby Rush, and you have Kingfish now, and Cedric Burnside coming along, just making big splashes worldwide, who live in Mississippi. It's a beautiful thing. And I just feel like that you start there, and you're always mixing in, the people that we have influenced. So the genre of our playlist, Will and I have come up with over the years, is vast. So, but it all leads back home to Mississippi. So, and you're going to get a lot of Mississippi where, in Louisiana and Texas and wherever you're going to get, you're not going to get that there. So, that's my favorite part of it. And then you got stories from a lot of my friends who talk about their best memories of Christmas, and obviously the sponsors that have come along and through the years and see the value in celebrating Christmas on SuperTalk. I think that it's a credit to SuperTalk, first of all. Anybody can take my place, but nobody can take the place of a Mississippi Christmas. So grateful for that. And you know how I feel about being the prodigal son of SuperTalk on the radio. I'm built to be singing and entertaining in front of a crowd, not necessarily in front of what you guys are so good at doing. And I've learned a lot from all of you guys. And so during this time, I also reset and really appreciate all you guys for allowing me to be part of the team. And we celebrated at Christmas. It's a beautiful thing.
We certainly do celebrate that, and we are honored to have you as part of the Super Talk Mississippi team. I think you're selling yourself a little bit short behind talking about talking behind or into a microphone as opposed to singing into a microphone. I will share this story. I've told you this before. Years ago, my wife was at a convention. I think it was in like the Destin area. It was a junior auxiliary national convention, and she came home and she's like, "This guy Steve Azar put on the coolest performance." It's a room full of several hundred women, and it was him on a stool with his guitar and a microphone, and he just went back and forth between telling stories and playing music, and it was just captivating. So she was impressed a long time before even I knew you. I think you're a great storyteller. I'm curious, Steve, in terms of an aha moment for a musician's career, I'm sure there are, mile markers or signposts along the way that give you kind of an I've made it thought, even though maybe we've never really made it, at least the great ones never feel like they have. Where does making a Christmas album fit into that, I've made it, there's enough demand for my music that I should produce a Christmas album just like Ella Fitzgerald did, just like Frank Sinatra did, just like, Elvis did?
Well, I know I've got my one Catfish Christmas song, which goes deep into my history with my buddy Danny Oberly, who's a catfish biologist, a party that me and my brother Joe and him used to put on in Gwen and Nashville for the entire music industry of friends.
How good was that?
I saw the card one, but I got to add to Catfish Christmas. I know that. But you know what? You talk about these milestones in your life. This is the first time in my life I've ever been on a Grammy-nominated project for this year. And so that is, think about it. You've made all this music and all these bodies of work, and being on a record that's nominated for a Grammy is a very hard, difficult thing because there's only 5 a year. And so I've always been classified in a tough genre. Got close a couple times, we felt, but now at this point at a Greenville, Mississippi, and I'm on a record with me and Slash and Alice Cooper and DMC and Steve Cropper and Rob Halford from Judas Priest, but we're up against John Legend, so we're going to see how it goes. But those are the little milestones in your life. You go, okay, I'm still getting to do it. These are unique projects. They're not a full album, but with that said, those are the things that go, okay, I'm still in the game somewhat.
There you go.
But I came home to write about Mississippi, and that's been my most grateful thing, and having the state song and the children's book now that's running throughout the schools, and that has been the icing on the cake beyond belief for me.
You're the best.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's a beautiful thing.
You are the best. All John Legend does is sing and play the piano. You guys got him whipped. No problem. Thanks so much, Steve. Merry Christmas. We can't wait for a Mississippi Christmas with Steve Azar.